You know, I could have made a rant video about just about anything, you know, in the previous few days. You know, I could have made a rant video about the situation going on with Channel Awesome and the way they treat their former creators. I could have made a rant video about the subreddit Watch People Die and the admins and Vice News something to do with that. I mean, sure, the video was a little bit disturbing, but nonetheless, it's not as disturbing as some of the other things I've seen. But no, here I am, talking about Robot Wars. As someone who's a big fan of Robot Wars, it saddens me that BBC has decided to quite literally give it the axe. So for those that don't know, basically BBC has decided to give Robot Wars the axe, and, well, let's just say it hasn't gone very well. Basically, the BBC relies on a system in which if your program doesn't get enough views, then it's getting the axe. It doesn't really matter if it's a positively rated or negatively rated program, it's going to get the axe because it didn't get enough views. This is one of the main reasons why Doctor Who and Top Gear, which have gotten very negative reviews in the latest seasons, is still on. Because at the end of the day, they rely on a system. It's a system which most programs seem to use, and in my opinion this is the only justifiable reason behind it, other than their version of events, which is they want to make room for new shows. When I mean by new shows, I mean tennis. Yeah. However, it gets a little bit more twisted than that. You see, BBC haven't really been treating Robot Wars that well at all. For something that is educational, informative and entertaining, some of the three things that BBC strives to create and strives for all their programmes to have, Robot Wars was kicked, essentially. Kicked, beaten and spat on. Essentially the BBC decided it would be a great idea, and I mean a fantastic idea, to put it on when other big shows were on, such as Blue Planet, and to not give it any advertisement whatsoever. Once you see it from this point of view, you start realising the BBC never really cared for it whatsoever, which is what makes this cancellation so bitter. What makes it worse is that after they announced the cancellation, they decided it would be a brilliant idea to then air some of the previous episodes from Series 9. Good job, BBC, good job. You're really gonna make the fans happy. You're really gonna, you know, treat them with respect, considering their show has lost. And has pretty much been killed. Yeah, good job. I applaud you. So yes, the BBC have never really cared for Robot Wars, as it seems, and this cancellation shouldn't really come as any surprise, but to me, and to many others, it does come as a shock. You see, after the Series 10, I actually did have high hopes that, hey, there might be a Series 11, and I kept convincing people that it will happen, just be patient. And, well, you know what happens now. It's now been cancelled. And the BBC acts all laissez-faire about it, as if it's not a problem, as if it's going to be blown away just like that. And any attempts at trying to say or criticise them in any way is not going so well. In fact, they try to blow it away as if it's just a smelly little fart in an elevator, but the truth is, it's not going to go away that easily. People are pissed, and rightfully so. Your excuse is abysmal, to say the very least. What makes it even worse is the fact that you force the Roboteers to basically do your dirty work beforehand instead of doing it yourself. And that is truly, truly a dick move. I don't hate the BBC, in fact I don't really like it either. I do find it biased in some ways, but considering they rely on this system, which a lot of broadcasters, mind you, not just the BBC, a lot of broadcasters use, which is essentially, if something doesn't get enough views, then it's going to go away. But if something gets a lot of views, it's going to be keepers. And even if that thing which has a lot of views gets negative opinions, it doesn't matter. I mean, look at Doctor Who, look at Top Gear. They've got negative reviews, but they get a lot of views, and therefore, it's a keeper. Robot Wars doesn't get enough views and positive reviews, it's a goner. That is literally the system it works, because in some ways, let's compare it to movie industry or YouTube. You see, likes and dislikes or negative opinions or reviews or positive reviews, whatnot, it doesn't really matter. As long as people actually go to it and watch it for the whole term, essentially giving the movie or YouTuber money, it doesn't really matter. It's why a lot of these big YouTubers are so disliked around the internet, yet they get a lot of money and yet they have a low subscribers because people are staying tuned. And that is something you need to keep in your head. The fact that the BBC wants people to stay in tune and not to leave, which has its disadvantages. You see, a lot of people, when they watch a program, are more likely to tune out every so often. Who knows, it might be because of that, or maybe isn't reliable whatsoever. So, yeah, it's not very good. But of course, as I was saying, there are some other disadvantages to the whole BBC cancelling rules thing. You see, some delightful fans have decided to send certain crew members death threats. Yeah, certain people from the BBC death threats because Rules got cancelled. I mean, I've said it once and I'll say it again, the Rules fan base isn't perfect. It is full of assholes, and I would gladly consider myself to be one of them, but I am not the type of asshole who sent death threats, and I think that is going a little bit too far. Yes, the BBC were dicks about ending, are really rubbing salt on the wound with their repeats of older episodes, and, well, pathetic excuses as well as rather pathetic responses to people rightfully angry at them. So, yes, I do think the anger is alright, but sending death threats is a little bit too far. Then, of course, you do have some positives to this whole situation. See, one thing I always believe in is hope. I mean, sure, someone could say that hope is technically cancer, it's something that infects you, and you think everything's going to be alright, and then guess what, nothing is. But here's the thing, the Battlebots producer has even hinted or rumoured that because Channel 5 owns the rights to airing Battlebots, they might even have a UK version of Battlebots, which would be absolutely amazing. Not only that, Metal have also announced, thanks to a spokesman, that they may be looking for a new channel, which means that Rogue Wars isn't necessarily dead. And, of course, let's not forget the live events. The live events are still going on, so Rogue Wars is still technically alive. I will say this, the BBC's move is upsetting to say the very least, and I think their excuse of getting more interesting programs is rather pathetic. I'd rather have a better excuse. Hell, if they would say that you ran out of money, I probably wouldn't have minded, but they didn't. Instead they decided to say they're making room for new programs, i.e. tennis, and yeah. While other shows which have been getting negative reviews and also losing the view figure, may I remind you, is still allowed on. Yeah. And it's not even a case of running out of time slots for their programs, because if you really think about it, they could have. They could have still kept it and had new shows on as well. But as I said earlier, Rules was sort of like this domestic abuse victim in some way. The BBC didn't really care for it, it just kept beating it up and really just had it on just for the sake of it. And as I said earlier, the main reason why is because they didn't bother doing advertisements. They kept underfunding it, if I remember reading correctly into the research. And yeah, it doesn't seem like BBC necessarily cared for the show in the first place, which is a real damn shame. But as I said, there is always hope, and not only that, Rules isn't technically dead. You still got Battlebots coming out, Series 8, may I remind you, which is going to be potentially awesome. Hopefully it won't be surrounded with controversy like Season 7. Also you got King of Bots, which is also a very fun show. And KFC Wars, I mean Clash Bots, that Chinese competition which has KFC just splattered all over the place. To be fair, it actually doesn't look all that bad except for the advertisements and some rumours from Roboteers that say that it probably isn't going to be good. But who knows, it might be great. Yeah, I will admit, this Rant video hasn't been as angry or as spiteful as some of my other videos, you know, particularly the Alice Asylum ones, but that's mainly because I wanted to keep a more relaxed situation to the whole problem that is at hand. Just remember, kids, there's always hope. Just because one channel rejects it doesn't mean that other channels won't.